I've laid out the clothes for the weekend. The weather should be nice, so I packed light. Make sure you don't forget your jacket.
I remember the moment clearly, even though at the time it felt ordinary. The first time she mentioned the trip, it slipped out of her mouth like something trivial, like saying she needed to stop for groceries on the way home. A short weekend away with friends, she said. Just a little break from routine. I barely reacted. I smiled, told her to have a good time, and returned to whatever I was doing. That had become our marriage. Small conversations, polite gestures, but no real connection. I convinced myself this was normal. Long marriages grow quieter, I told myself. People drift. That's what everyone says, right? Still, something in my chest felt uneasy. On Thursday night, the suitcase appeared. Not a tiny overnight bag, but a medium-sized one, the kind she used only when she planned to stay somewhere longer. I noticed instantly. She placed it on the bed with an unusual burst of energy, unzipping it while humming softly to herself. I sat by the window pretending to read, but my eyes kept drifting toward her. I tried not to overthink it, yet I always paid attention. That had been my silent role for years. What troubled me was what she packed. Dresses she hadn't worn for me in ages. Lingerie I recognized but hadn't seen since our relationship cooled. A brand new perfume, still sealed in its box. None of it looked like casual girls' trip clothing. I asked where they were staying. She said, "A hotel." When I pressed for which one, she shrugged and said she'd text me later. Her tone felt light, too light, almost careless. That night she fell asleep quickly. I didn't. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying moments I had ignored for months. Late nights with her phone face down, sudden new passwords, her growing irritation at simple questions. The way she spoke to me like I was an inconvenience instead of a partner. I didn't accuse her. I didn't confront her. I just listened to my thoughts for the first time. The next morning, after she left for work, curiosity overcame me. I opened the suitcase. I didn't know what I was looking for. Maybe proof, maybe reassurance. Instead, I found something worse because it was deliberate. Tucked inside a side pocket was a small envelope containing a printed reservation. Not for a hotel, but for a private rental. Only one guest was listed. No group, no friends. Just her. I closed the suitcase carefully, folding everything exactly as she had left it. Then I carried it to the spare room and placed it on the floor. I didn't touch it again until Friday evening. When she came home, she seemed unusually cheerful, talking faster than normal. She showered, styled her hair, and kept checking her phone. When she entered the bedroom carrying the suitcase, she froze. "It's not where I left it," she said. "Did you move my bag?" "Yes," I replied calmly. I told her it was in the spare room. She walked down the hall and I followed a few steps behind, stopping at the doorway. She knelt and opened it. For a brief second, confusion crossed her face. Then she saw it. On top of everything lay the printed reservation I had found, folded neatly. Beneath it was a man's shirt, not mine. I had discovered it weeks earlier hidden in the trunk of her car but said nothing. I had washed it, folded it, and placed it there deliberately. She didn't yell. She didn't rage. She simply sank back onto her heels, staring as though the ground beneath her had vanished. Her shoulders began to tremble. She tried to speak but couldn't. When she finally looked up, her eyes were filled, not with anger, but with fear. "I can explain," she whispered, the oldest sentence in the world. I told her she didn't need to. I already understood more than I wanted to. I wasn't interested in details, how long, how many times, with whom. None of that mattered anymore. What mattered was this. She had packed a suitcase to leave our marriage and only broke down when she realized she'd been caught. Her tears came harder then. She apologized over and over, saying it meant nothing, that she'd felt lonely, that she never meant to hurt me. I listened quietly, noticing how easily "I'm sorry" flowed once there were consequences. I also noticed that her tears came from fear of losing her life, not guilt for betraying it. I picked up the suitcase and zipped it shut. I placed it back in her hands and told her the trip was still happening, just not the way she planned. She could take the bag and go or leave it and stay. But either way, our marriage would never be the same. She asked what I meant. I told her some betrayals don't end marriages instantly. They destroy the illusion first. And once that illusion is gone, everything else follows. She sat there on the floor, clutching the suitcase like it weighed far more than it should. For the first time in years, she looked at me as if she finally realized I wasn't invisible anymore. And in that moment, the marriage we once had was already gone.